Today our topic is how to use Stoicism to improve decision-making. Life is full of choices, big and small. Every day, we make decisions that shape our future. But sometimes, making decisions can feel overwhelming. We worry about making the wrong choice, about what others will think, or about what might go wrong. This is where Stoicism can help. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to stay calm, focused, and rational, even in difficult situations. By using Stoic principles, we can improve our decision-making and live a more peaceful and purposeful life. First, let's talk about what Stoicism is. Stoicism was founded in ancient Greece by a man named Seneca. Later, philosophers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius developed it further. The main idea of Stoicism is that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Stoics believe that our emotions, like fear, anger, or sadness, often come from our own thoughts and judgments, not from the events themselves. By changing how we think, we can change how we feel and act. This is especially useful when making decisions. One of the key Stoic principles is focusing on what we can control. When we face a decision, we often worry about things that are outside of our control. For example, if you are deciding whether to take a new job, you might worry about whether your new boss will like you, or whether the company will succeed in the future. But these things are not in your control. What is in your control is how well you prepare for the interview, how hard you work, and how you treat others. Stoicism teaches us to focus on these things and let go of the rest. This makes decision-making easier because we can concentrate on what really matters. Another important Stoic principle is to think about the worst-case scenario. This might sound negative, but it is actually very helpful. The Stoics called this Premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of evils. The idea is to imagine the worst that could happen, and then ask yourself, can I handle it? For example, if you are deciding whether to start your own business, you might worry about failing. But if you imagine the worst-case scenario, losing money, having to start over, or even going back to a regular job, you will realize that you can survive it. This reduces fear and helps you make a clear decision. It also prepares you for challenges, so you are not caught off guard if things go wrong. Stoicism also teaches us to separate facts from opinions. When we make decisions, we often let our emotions and assumptions cloud our judgment. For example, if you are deciding whether to end a relationship, you might think, I will never find someone else, or I will be alone forever. But these are not facts. They are fears. The facts might be that the relationship is not working, or that you are unhappy. By focusing on the facts, you can make a more rational decision. Stoics call this seeing things as they are, not as we wish them to be. Another Stoic practice that helps with decision-making is to take a step back and view the situation from a distance. This is called the view from above. Imagine you are looking down at your life from a high place, like a mountain, or even the stars. From this perspective, your problems and decisions seem smaller. You realize that many of the things you worry about are not as important as they feel in the moment. This helps you stay calm and make better choices. It also reminds you that life is short, and you should focus on what truly matters. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of virtue. The Stoics believed that the goal of life is to live virtuously, which means being wise, courageous, just, and self-disciplined. When making decisions, ask yourself, what is the virtuous choice? For example, if you are deciding whether to tell the truth or lie to avoid trouble, the virtuous choice is to tell the truth, even if it is difficult. By focusing on virtue, you make decisions that align with your values and bring you long-term happiness rather than short-term comfort. Another useful Stoic technique is to practice gratitude. When we are faced with a difficult decision, it is easy to feel stressed or overwhelmed. But if we take a moment to think about what we are grateful for, it can shift our perspective. For example, if you are deciding whether to move to a new city, you might feel anxious about leaving your friends and family. But if you focus on the opportunities, the move will bring new experiences, new people, new growth. You can make the decision with a positive mindset. Gratitude helps us see the good in every situation and reduces fear. Stoicism also teaches us to accept what we cannot change. This is called the dichotomy of control. Some things are within our control, like our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Other things are outside our control, like the weather, other people's opinions, or the past. When making decisions, focus on what you can control and accept what you cannot. For example, if you are deciding whether to invest in the stock market, you cannot control how the market will perform. But you can control how much research you do, how much risk you are willing to take, and how you react to gains or losses. By accepting uncertainty, you can make decisions without unnecessary stress. Another Stoic practice is to reflect on your decisions regularly. The Stoics believed in daily reflection as a way to learn and grow. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to think about the decisions you made. Ask yourself, did I act with virtue? Did I focus on what I can control? Did I let my emotions cloud my judgment? This helps you learn from your mistakes and improve over time. It also reminds you to stay mindful and intentional in your decision-making. Finally, Stoicism teaches us to embrace challenges. The Stoics believed that obstacles are opportunities for growth. When faced with a difficult decision, don't avoid it or wish it away. Instead, see it as a chance to practice your virtues, to learn, and to become stronger. For example, if you are deciding whether to confront a friend about a problem, it might feel uncomfortable. But if you see it as an opportunity to practice courage and honesty, you can approach it with confidence. By embracing challenges, you turn difficult decisions into meaningful experiences. In conclusion, Stoicism offers many tools to improve decision-making. By focusing on what we can control, imagining the worst-case scenario, separating facts from opinions, and practicing virtue, we can make clearer and more rational choices. Stoicism also teaches us to accept uncertainty, reflect on our decisions, and embrace challenges. These principles help us stay calm, focused, and purposeful, even in difficult situations. Life is full of decisions, but with Stoicism, we can navigate them with wisdom and peace. Remember, the goal is not to avoid problems or make perfect choices, but to grow and live a virtuous life. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, the next time you face a tough decision, take a deep breath. Think like a Stoic and choose wisely.